Okay, chapter 26 talks about how plants respond to different stimuli. And we're going to start out talking about plant hormones. And the stimulus that they can respond to can be anything from light to gravity to carbon dioxide levels to drought to touch or even pathogen infections. And the response is going to lead to survival of the species because the response is going to involve movement. And it can be a short-term response, such as the stomata opening and closing, depending on light levels, or it can be long-term, like how gravity causes the roots to grow down and the stem to grow up. Now, hormones are chemical signals that coordinate cell responses, and this helps the plant cells to communicate. They can be made in one part of the plant but affect another part of the plant. Travel within the phloem or from cell to cell in response to an appropriate stimulus would be caused by hormones. It happens at the cellular level. Receptors contain pigment components that respond to light, and so that's at the cellular level that this is going to happen. The first hormone we're going to look at is auxin, and auxins promote apical dominance. They are produced in the shoot apical meristem, and they're going to cause growth upward at the tip of the plant. And we find these in young leaves and flowers and fruits. Now, what does it do? It prevents the growth of axillary buds so that you have that apical dominance. The terminal bud produces the new growth instead of the axillary buds. This is why people will prune their plants to cause more apical growth. This promotes growth of roots and fruit, and it prevents loss of leaves in fruit. Sometimes they will spray auxins on trees to keep the fruit from dropping off too early. It also will promote positive phototropism of the stems where they'll move towards the light. Now, when a stem is exposed to light coming from one direction, the auxin is going to move to the shady side, and it'll enter the cells, the nuclei of those cells on the shady side, and attach to receptors in the plasma membrane. And that will activate a proton pump so that hydrogen ions are pumped out of the cell, and conditions will become a lot more acidic then in the cell. So the cell wall will loosen and turgor pressure will increase because you got more water entering the cell. So the cell enlarges, and this causes the stem to bend up towards the light at the tip. Another hormone is gibberellins, and these are growth promoting hormones. They cause the stems to get longer. There are about 70 of them. This gibberellic acid, they can put it on the outside of a plant, and it'll make the stems get longer, and it'll also break dormancy of buds and seeds. So it'll hasten the development of the flowers that you plant in your flower bed. Going to make those big, plump, larger seedless grapes, and then you can see the flowers there when they put it, or that plant on the left, when they put it on that, you see how it produces a lot more flowers, and they're bigger. Now, cytokinins is another type of hormones, and these promote cell division. We find these in the dividing tissues of the roots. We find them in seeds, and we find them in fruits. And what they do is they promote the life of the flower cuttings or the life of the vegetables. When we buy them from the store, they'll stay good for a while in our refrigerator at home. auxin and the cytokinins can interact, and the cytokinins actually prevent senescence, which is the aging of the plant. And so it keeps that plant, those flowers, they'll last longer. Um, the reason that we have our leaves turning colors in the autumn is because of leaf senescence that occurs. But now, these cytokinins don't affect the whole plant at one time. It's just different parts of the plant. Abscisic acid is another one, and it's also called ABA, and it's made by any part of the plant that has chloroplast, that's green tissue. Sometimes we call it the stress hormone because it will cause seed and bud dormancy and make it last. It will cause the stomata to close. Abscission is just the dropping of the leaves or the flowers or the fruit. Winter buds on plants, they form because of abscission. This is Indian corn. It has reduced sensitivity to the abscisic acid. Then we have ethylene. Ethylene is a gas, and it causes abscission. It causes certain enzymes like cellulase that'll cause the leaf or the flower or the fruit to drop off. It makes fruits ripen because it'll soften them, and it'll increase the activity of the enzymes to make that smell of ripened fruit and make that ripened fruit taste better, have better flavor. It breaks down the chlorophyll, and that's why the colors change as the fruits ripen. It also will cause axillary bud inhibition because the auxin is transported down the stem, and that causes these, it stimulates production of the ethylene. It will also suppress root and stem elongation. They even sell bags that you can put your produce in that will keep ethylene, they say, from being formed so that your vegetables and fruits last longer as long as they're in those special bags, which I'm sure that's just a way to make money.